Hey, welcome back, guys. I'm sitting in the garage, and this dune buggy behind me has sat long enough. If you follow along, you've noticed, I did a complete rebuild on this, and it rips, and it is fun, but I got some issues. Last time I was riding this around, and I was just ripping and just having fun, and I was downshifting, and then it died on me, and for the life of me, I could not get it started. So I thought, well, I probably skipped some timing teeth. Probably just because I was downshifting hard, I thought maybe the timing chain skipped some teeth. So it was almost winter, and I let it sit because honestly, working out in the garage, busting your knuckles because they're cold is no fun. I came out a few times during the winter and tinkered with it, and I found the issue, and it is not timing chain because I had spark and compression. I thought maybe I'd lost. Compression's good. So let me show you what the issue is. This motor is off of an old Suzuki Bullet bike, and it has here, which I don't know exactly what it's called, but I think it's some sort of timing advance. So the timing advance pulls this guy back or forward depending on the motor and the electronics and how it runs. Well, I got to looking and found, you can see it, that motor mount was welded onto here, but it's broke off. So when the motor mount broke, it tilted the motor. So instead of being up like this, it tilted it forward, which caused that timing advance cable to be completely taut or tight, not allowing for the proper timing. So I was able to prop it up, put that motor back in alignment, and I could start it up with starter fluid for just a few seconds. So I figured my timing's good, everything's good, it's just that motor mount's broke. And if you remember right, first fired this puppy up, there's a lot of shake on this motor because it's just got solid motor mounts, and so the whole frame just shakes and it gives you a massage while you ride it, which is not a problem. But it was too much for those welds. So I've been thinking about it. We need to do some proper motor mounts. There's really a top motor mount, and then there's the bottom motor mount with the long bolt that just pivots. So I'm gonna redo some motor mounts. I'm gonna make them motion dampening. Hopefully we'll soften up the ride for the driver and give the motor some flex. Other thing I did is I have this main fuel tank down here, which goes here through a filter to a pump, pumps fuel up into the upper fuel reservoir. There's an overflow, so if it gets too full, it flows back down this hose back into the main tank. And then there's a fuel level indicator here. You can see there's no fuel in it. What I also found is the fuel that comes out of this tank, right here at the very bottom, feeds in to the carburetor. The carburetor, now this is a Chinese model I picked up, and it just leaks. And so I did also find that the cylinder, it was leaking fuel into the cylinder and then through the piston and just right out through the exhaust, and I was getting all sorts of gas. So I need to put me a fuel cutoff here. I already have a filter here. I have another filter over there before you get to the pump or after, I can't remember. So I need to put a fuel cutoff here. So when I'm not driving it, I shut off the fuel. I don't lose fuel through the carburetor, messing up the motor and all sorts of garbage. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put a fuel cutoff switch. We need to fix the motor mounts, which is the most critical part. So we're gonna do that first. The fuel cutoff, piece of cake. I may have one here in the shop somewhere. Pretty sure I do. If I can't find, I'll have to buy one, but can't be more than $1. Just a tiny little bloop, bleep, bloop, little switch. So that's the plan for today. Let's clean up this old motor mount. We're just gonna cut it off. I got to clean up the pole there, or the frame piece where it was welded on. We're gonna go a completely different route. I'm gonna do a bolt-on motor mount with some rubber gaskets, which will hopefully dampen that motor stuff up. That's what I'm gonna do on the top. The bottom, I'm gonna do something similar, but I haven't decided exactly what I'm gonna do there. Let's just get into this top one. metal scraps laying around. This came off. This is a mount for an old lawnmower, part of the bag mount that I don't use. I think this will be pretty good. My bolt fits in there, so I'm going to use this centerpiece. I think that will be perfect. So I just need to cut out here because that'll be kind of my mount. And then do I reinforce it somehow? We'll see. So I need to measure my distance because I want to have a good plate for that to go on. Let's go see what that is. All right, my tubing is an inch and a half, but I got to be a little short, so I'm going to do 1.25 inches. What I have here is just a liquid chalk. I got the new motor mount on. It looks pretty good. I'm not 100% satisfied with it, but I think it's going to be functional. I think it's going to work. So let me show you how it turned out. All right, so if you look here, I have 4 rubber washers and 2 on each side of the motor mount bracket in hopes that, you know, that rubber, even the small movement should help with the vibration. I basically just ran a bolt down through my frame. And if you look over here, you can see this is the top motor mount. And here's the bracket. This is the metal piece. And then it has the rubber washers. There's 2 on each side. I have a washer on top here with the bolt. And then on the bottom is a lock nut with another washer. So it's basically sandwiched in there, but it has enough rubber that it should take some vibration and not do so much vibration, hopefully not break that component. Down here, I have my solid mounts for the back side of the motor. There's one here and then one on the other side. I need to figure out to do the same thing here. Probably make like a T-bracket or something. I haven't quite decided. I'm still popping around ideas in my head what to do there, but I do want to have some rubber mounts so that when the motor's running, there's a little bit of vibration dampening to isolate the motor vibration with the frame vibration, and hopefully make it so that the driver has a much smoother ride and not so much vibration. So there's the motor mount. I think it's enough that I can test it. I've thrown some starter fluid on it. It does fire up. I am gonna pop this carburetor off, make sure it's good and clean, but I already have the original carburetor in a box over there, and I got a kit for the original carburetor, and I went through and replaced all the oil seal or the fuel seals, the rubber gaskets, and I think it's gonna work much better than these Chinese made knockoff carburetors. So I did throw some starter fluid on there, and it did start up. You know, with the starter fluid, it just blah, 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 sounds good, and then it kills. That's because there's not a lot of fuel air mixture getting in there. So I'm satisfied with that. I still got to get a fuel shutoff. I could not find one. I have a 3/8 inch hose. The fuel shutoff I have is for 1/4 inch. So I got to go to the store and get a 3/8. I just want a quick off on switch. I don't care about anything else. I'm already filtering the fuel twice. From the tank and then right after the pump, and those are easy to get at, so I can swap those out. So I need to pull this carburetor off, and I need to get the fuel shut off so that I don't have that fuel, unless I'm driving the vehicle, I don't have that fuel just constantly dripping into the carburetor. Hopefully with the new rubber gaskets for the carburetor, it'll fix that issue, but still I think it's a good idea to have a fuel shut off there. So I do have a fuel shut off on the main tank, may as well have one on the expansion tank at the top. That's where I'm at. It's stinking hard, or stinking hot. It is hot. It's 86 degrees. The sun is creeping up on my ankles. My legs are on fire because they're in the sun. So I'm gonna call it for today. I'm gonna buy some parts. Fuel shut off. That's really all I need. Also gonna brainstorm in my noggin what to do with the rear side motor mount so I can introduce some vibration dampening in there. There's got to be something I can do. I just need to brainstorm a little bit and get a good idea, but I'll be back and we'll get at it. I'm gonna take the carburetor off now, swap on my newly kitted carburetor, and hopefully we can get this started back up and go for a zip. starter key here. It's on. We're gonna turn the fuel on. Which, where's my fuel pump? I believe it's this one. Yep, I need to label that. You can hear it filling up. Comes up here. And you're gonna see the fill line up. See, it's coming up already. We're just gonna stop right there. Turn that off. Turn our fuel line on. Check for leaks. Not seeing any. Did our level drop? Probably wouldn't drop much. Alright. Let's give it a go. Choke it. Bring the thunder. It's amazing what a new carburetor will do. Plus, like I said, I had a broken motor mount, which messed everything up. I still got to do something with my lower motor mount. Haven't decided what I'm going to do. But what I'm going to do right now is clean the crap out of my garage. And I'm going to take this guy for a spin because why not? It is so fun to drive. I just got to be careful. Oh, I do need to bleed the brakes, because I don't think they're completely bled, and I pushed brakes to the floor and it does not stop. Now it only has one brake on the rear side. There's the drive on one side, the brakes on the other side. But hey, let's see what we can do here. All right, that was fun until it wasn't. Man, this thing is so much fun. I got a good half a mile in, shifted, and for some reason, I just have so much or too much slack in this chain. It popped the chain tensioner I have on it, bound up, and then bound up the drive on the bike, on the motor. And the motor killed, of course, because it's locked up. And I rolled to a stop. I don't know what I'm doing wrong on this chain. A friend was walking his dogs and I happened to roll right up next to him and he thought, well, maybe your chain's too long. Could be. I don't know. At this point, I just don't know. I've had a lot of fun with this dune buggy, but I got to figure out what's going on with this chain. I disconnect the chain and it fires right up. The original carburetor, which I put the carburetor kit on, just is a rock solid carb. It's a Mikuni. So it's not a knockoff, it's an actual Mikuni carb, and it works great. I just wish I knew what to do with the chain. There's got to be a better chain tensioner out there, so I'm going to do some research. I got to do something with this dune bike. I don't even have a trailer I could take it somewhere. I'd have to drive it somewhere. It's not legal. I have the title for it, but I haven't registered it and haven't done anything. Anyways, man, I'm just not sure what to do at this point. If you have any ideas, drop some comments down there. I need to know what to do. How am I going to fix this chain tensioner? What am I going to do with the dune buggy? Drop a comment, let me know. Thanks, guys.